In the world of finance, we are often quick to forget the tragedies of the past, yet valuable lessons are to be had by exploring their causes and effects. After all, in a world of ever-changing rules, products, and services, history is the one constant that can guide us through the ambiguity. So let's take a 5-minute history lesson on today's Plain Bagel. It's 1971, and after years of research, Northern Electric, a Canadian spin-off of the Bell Telephone Company, is about to make an innovative breakthrough by releasing the SP1, a telephone switching system used to connect phone lines, one of the first ever to use a computer. And with the added features it offers, it sells faster than your grandma's hotcakes at the county fair. The success of the product helps Northern go public, with the company going on to develop the most successful and the first digital private branch exchange system in the world, the SL1. By the late 1970s, Northern Electric, Telecom now, is dominating the global market. And they're doing pretty well in the data space too, providing a proprietary local area network with voice, text, email, spreadsheet, and word processing capabilities, and an electronic calendar to boot, helping offices digitize their business and propelling the company's sales and stock price. But just as Northern sets out to become the #1 provider of public and private networks, a new challenger approaches. A network solution that's combining local area networks to revolutionize communication as we know it, and they're calling it the internet. At first, Northern doesn't give much merit to the technology, even trying to compete with it via its own network called the infrastructure. Wait, really? Huh. But anyway, by 1997, with the acceleration of the dot-com boom, it becomes pretty obvious that management made a strategic boo-boo in avoiding the phenomenon. But hey, if you can't beat them, join them, right? So in 1998, Northern Telecom shifts its focus from telephones to data and multimedia networking and decides to rebrand itself, changing its name to the one we've all come to know and love, Nortel Networks. Get it? Nortel? Northern Telecom? So Nortel Networks, looking to catch up on the internet, begins buying up every internet startup in sight, making $19.7 billion worth of acquisitions in 2000 alone. And with demand for data accelerating, the company begins flooding the market with fiber optics, helping the stock move ever higher. But something's wrong. Nortel isn't actually making money anymore. Turns out all those acquisitions are causing pretty large expenses to appear on the income statement. And between 1998 and 2000, the company fails to record a single annual profit. This is bad news bears, especially for management, who have accumulated buttloads of Nortel stock options at this point. But they have just the innovation to save Nortel's hide. They call it earnings from operations. It's a beautiful thing, because it's a measure of profitability that ignores all acquisition expenses. And management convinces shareholders that this new positive number is totally more accurate than that dumb accounting one. And investors dig it, buying up Nortel shares despite its mounting losses. In the year 2000, Nortel stock hits a high of $124.50, making it the 9th most valuable company in the world. At this point, every investment fund, pension, and investment account tracking the Canadian market is holding Nortel stock, and for good reason, because the company comes to represent more than a third of the entire Toronto Stock Exchange 300 index. But just as the company reaches this pinnacle, the dot-com bubble that helped Nortel hit this high pops. You see, while Nortel was banking on an endless demand for fiber optics, the market has quickly saturated with unused infrastructure, causing demand to dry up as the broader tech industry slows down. Next thing you know, Nortel is facing a significantly smaller market for its services. And in February of 2001, with sales missing expectations, Nortel announces that it no longer expects to make money in the coming quarter, prompting investors to run for their lives, dropping the company's market capitalization from $398 billion Canadian to less than $5 billion in just 2 years. Nortel's business becomes impaired, and the firm is forced to lay off 63.5% of its workforce in what would later become the largest downsizing in Canadian corporate history. And come 2003, the company's bright future becomes pitch black. But what's this? A glimmer of hope. It's 2004, and the company reports its first annual profit since 1997. And look, the stock is rebounding. The day is saved, and it's all thanks to management's hard work, determination, and accounting misrepresentation because the company isn't actually recovering. Turns out management has just been fudging the numbers, using cookie jar reserves to take revenue from past years and shift them into 2003, making it look like the company has returned to profitability, which conveniently triggers a $70 million bonus for the executives. But regulators call baloney, with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police charging Nortel's executives with fraud. And so, with that final money grab exposed, the stock returns to its previously scheduled programming, plummeting down further as the Canadian Goliath is brought to its knees. The next several years would be filled with lawsuits, layoffs, and losses until January 14th, 2009, when Nortel files for bankruptcy protection. And on June 26th, Nortel shares are delisted from the TSX at a final price of just 18.5 cents a share, down 98.8% from their IPO price. And so, Nortel Networks, after 10 years of struggling, proceeds to liquidate. The company would remain in bankruptcy purgatory for another 8 years after this, spending a whopping $2.5 billion on lawyers and accountants, and only reaching negotiated settlements in 2017. Oh, and the executives charged with fraud? They get off scot-free, keeping millions while employees are left with but a fraction of their promised pensions and benefits. While it's been 10 years since Nortel filed for bankruptcy protection, it remains a baffling moment in time for many. After all, who would have thought the missteps and deceit of a few could bring down the largest company in Canadian history? Thanks for watching. Nortel is a story that I've always been pretty interested in because my dad actually worked for the company's R&D division, and he was on the front lines through the firm's rise and fall. And even though Nortel's a story of incredible financial loss, it's what actually got me interested in the stock market. So thanks, Dad, for being a part of history and guiding me to where I am today.